Hey y'all, hey, it's been a while, but it is me, Bianca, your womb healer, your womb philosopher, and so many things, right? Because I am coming here to express to you that I have not been in hiding, I have not left, right, the building per se, but I was being initiated. So thank you for coming in and joining and listening. This video is going to be on my YouTube channel, but then I also prompt a little bit of it on IG and or TikTok. We gonna see. But it's been a while. Okay, so hello. How are you? And I hope all is well. We gonna get into it really quickly because that's just how we gotta do it. That's the way that I remember. I do have my notes, so I may look at a little bit of I may be looking down a little bit, okay? But again, my name is Bianca, and if you are new here, I have been in this womb healing or womb empowerment era for about 7 to 8 years now. Yes, I am a womb practitioner. I've worked with many women, and specifically with, I want to say specifically in regards to, of course, womb healing, period healing, menstrual cycle healing, helping women with fertility, helping women with post abortion, and just so many things when it comes to vaginal health, helping women release things that need to be released from the womb and or the yoni. But today I'm here to talk to you about the real deal, about my personal experience lately, especially life and all the things. Okay. So it's going to be a good vibe. I'm excited. Happy to be here recording. And yeah, we're going to get into it. Perfect. Perfect. Hold on. Let's see what we got here. Okay. All right, now. So I have notes and I really want to like draw in what I wrote down because it's going to be important when we talk about what's new, right? When we talk about the deep inner work that is required of woman in order to get the life that she desires, in order to leave behind things that she doesn't want in her life anymore. Those two things are extremely important because that creates a beautiful life for you and or abundance or happiness. And I'm not talking about every day you're happy and you're in a good mood, but the overall, the overarching theme of your life becomes so, magnetic. So here I am, and I want to say that first off, that the deepest womb healing experience, healing that I have experienced is not learning per se about the womb for these past 7 to 8 years, probably 8 years. It is more about remembering myself and remembering who the hell I was this whole time. It's like this epiphany. And I don't know if this is what comes with age. I'm almost sure this is what comes with age. And that is a blessing. To age is a blessing, and to be tapped into your womb healing, into your womb energetic embodiment error, and then being consistent with it, you just reap so much. You reap so much. So yeah, so it was about remembering who I was this whole time. This whole time, all these rituals, all these herbs, right? All these practices, even helping women, even, almost denouncing my claim to, heal myself per se in all aspects of my life, and then giving up myself to help other women. That was a lesson as well. It was like, we gonna get into it, but it's very important. that you fill the, I know you've heard it before, that you fill your cup up first as a magnetic woman, as a woman with confidence, as a woman that believes in herself and believes in her powers and believes in what she can manifest and believes what she can do to help other women, right? Or to help others. The thing that you can bring, what's, your value. What are you value for those? Your value, what your value is that you can bring to the world. It's important that in order to, you know, be connected to this at all times, in order, because once you lose connection, right, you know what happens after that. It's like you have to constantly put work in and effort in to remember, right, to remember who you are every day in order to not get disconnected, especially because others, right, energies, because energy is a thing, can always come and try to usurp or interrupt your flow, especially when you are a woman of the water, right? A woman of the water, what is that? We're gonna get into it though. We're gonna get into it. Okay, so why did I leave, right? Why did I leave social media for a couple months and slow down, right? I slowed down a little bit of that efficiency. I would call it efficiency in my head, but it might have not been that all along. So many things I'm learning, but I never left. Again, I was being initiated. Life was initiating me. Life constantly initiates me. But in order to live this new reality that I wanted it so bad. I was I had to quiet down a little bit. It was almost like I was pregnant and I had to protect my child. My child was, right? My baby was my manifestation, my dream. And I had to put this dream in a bubble, right? I had to put this manifestation and drop it in a bubble. And that is what I did. I had to protect it. And then I had to make sure that I was utilizing rituals every day or as much as possible with this busy life that we all have to, to fill up this bubble, right, with padding in it. And that required for me to be quiet. That's just my personal experience, what works for me. Because now I'm living a new reality. I'm not in the old reality, in the old realm that I was living in. And so I had to become her every day. I woke up, despite what I saw in my real life. I felt, right? It's all about feeling when it comes to women, when it comes to womb. When it comes to womb empowerment and embodiment, you have to feel what you want to be. You have to feel the creation. Okay, you can just not just only think about it and stress out about it. No, no, no. That's different. You don't want to do that. So yeah, that is what happened. Again, life was initiating me and I was also living. I was also, making sure I got out the house a little bit. I got my two boys and, you know, boys are very consuming, children are. And so I made sure, I was going out on dates with my one of my girlfriends. We would just go out to the most expensive restaurants from time to time, and that was just a joy, just a pleasure, right? So I was living, right? I was making sure that I began to live as much as I can, right? And that was a part of my journey, and I realized that, yet yes, I had to release some things in order for this to come. You got to make space, right? That's what it boils down to. You got to make space sometimes. So ultimately, what I thought I was doing, right? What I thought I was doing was from the, for the past few years, again, 7 to 8 years since I began this journey, I thought I was working with what per se? I thought I was working with So, what I thought I was doing for the past 7 to 8 years was working with the herbs, right? I thought I was working with the herbs. I thought I was working with ritual. I thought I was yoni steaming, right, every month, which I was. I was doing all that. This was great. And I still do that. I still am consistent with my practices. I also thought I was doing ancestral work and supporting women, right? I thought I was supporting women. I thought I was doing ancestral work, working with the herbs, working with the plants, working with ritual. Okay, those are the things that I thought I was doing, which again, I was doing. But then there comes a time where, when you're up, there's always some sort of a fall. There's always some sort of a humbling experience so that you can get to the next level. Okay, because you ride and you high, but then you got to kind of come down a little bit so you can shoot back up. At least that's how I see it. And yeah, so those were the things that I thought I was doing. Those were the things that I was doing. But there comes a time where you realize that there's more to be done. There's more inner work. There's deeper work to do. Work that I've been ignoring, you know what I'm saying? Things that I ignore or have been ignoring for my whole entire life because I wasn't trained to deal with those things or taught how to deal with certain realities and in certain circumstances, right? In life, you have to really master life. There's things that happen to you in life every day where you are being tested. Will you take accountability? Will you be an adult? Will you ignore and turn your back on certain responsibilities and expect change? Right? What is it that you truly want? And if you really want something, because we all do have desires, then you have to face kind of like the obstacles. You got to face the obstacles that are in your way to get what you want. Okay. And whew, so life, right? And I have my notes here. Um, Another question is what life taught me. Okay. Life taught me so many things, and I'm still living in it. Motherhood, grief, till this day. If you know me, then, or if you know a little bit of my story, then you know that my mother did pass away. And, I spoke about this experience several times. That is grief. That is almost grief that never goes away. But it's handled differently, it is seen differently, it's respected, it's revered, right? Because, we gotta revere grief. Grief comes with the territory, grief comes with life. And it's at the silent a little bit because of the motorcycle passing by. I do gotta give me one of those ear sound things. So, um, movement, right? Life taught me movement and to always keep moving. And when you desire movement in your life, right? We all want to move. We want to move up, we want to move out, we want to move around, right? We want to be comfortable in our bodies, in our true nature and essence. That requires movement. Nature moves every day. Nature is never really quite still, even when she appears to be, right? There's always some sort of movement. The trees, right? Notice how when the air hits certain branches, certain trees, certain leaves, there's always a little bit of some movement, right? And then also movement is also usually connected to some sort of some joy, right? We all seek joy, humans in general. And so life taught me to move and not to remain stagnant and be stuck on the old, be stuck on the past. All right. Financial uncertainty is what life taught me, right? It's like, okay, how can we manage finances better? You know, what can we do to be different from our parents and what our parents taught us and what they didn't teach us? Life also taught me about boundaries. Boundaries is so important to me now. It's almost like we locked in real tight. You know, my boundaries are extremely, whew, you know, it's like, but it's a form of protection. It's a form of self-preservation. You must protect yourself as a divine feminine, as a woman with inner power, inner knowing, as a confident woman, as a woman that is fearless and a go-getter. Okay, you got to have those boundaries in place, and that looks so like it just looks, boundaries are different when it comes to each person. And so you set the stage, right? You set it up. You set up the way your boundaries go and flow in your life every day. That's a personal thing. But you got to get real, like, curious about your boundaries and what can stay and what can go in terms of your life in order to, again, manifest that new life, that new reality, right? And your new life and your new reality could be just more confidence, right? It could be something simple like that. It could be aura, right? You want to really be magnetic, right? You want to really feel good in your body. You want that inner knowing. And so that inner knowing becomes that outer glow. Then yeah, you want to make sure you real locked in with your boundaries. Life also taught me to listen to my body and to listen to my inner voice. Really, it's that inner voice, right? That sometimes that women ignore, that we ignore. So there's so many things that has happened, and I kind of just wanted to like brief y'all on what's been going on, right? So that's a little bit of a little synopsis. Now, in regards to revelation, right? I realized that I wasn't just healing my womb. And I came to realize that when I started to implement boundaries in my life and it shifted other people's energies around me. So that is something important to remember as a woman, as a divine feminine. You need to realize that when you really begin to tap into that inner womb power, where you can, speak like a goddess, live and breathe goddess energy daily, and you seriously about that life, you are going to hurt some people's feelings, right? People are not going to be taken aback a little bit from your newness, from your new boundaries. Okay, and the people that will stick around are mainly the ones that respect your boundaries, your new boundaries. They respect where you're coming from. They're not mad at you, right? No one's, or they're not upset with you, or they're upset with you for a little bit, and then almost like it's like you reprogram them. This journey, when it comes to womb healing or womb empowerment, is about honestly wiping the slate clean in regards to an old program in your psyche. And now you have to input a new program, a new system into the computer, into you. You are the computer, right? And so you have to implement that new system and hit the button update or whatever it's called. I think that on the iPhone, like they always system update. System update. Okay, that's really what it is. Is it womb empowerment is about constant system updates. You cannot stay the same if you really want to be that, right? If you really want to embody that empowerment. So basically, I was entering My personal experience was that I was entering the domain or the cocoon of self remembrance. And I was finally um, seeing who was, or revealing, or the, the universe was revealing to me who I was underneath the self, not only sabotage per se, but the self abandonment. Okay, who I was beneath the survival, underneath people pleasing, underneath performance, right? And overperforming in order for someone to see the beauty in me, the love in me. I began to see the love in me myself with my own true eyes, with my own heart, right? And so that is very empowering, because like literally you don't really give a fuck about nobody. Nobody can disturb your peace when you are at this level. Okay? And you may get ticked off, whatever, somebody may say something to you, you may get ticked, you're going to be tested no matter what. Especially when your calling is to be in your essence, your true essence. So, and then also I forgot to mention fear, because fear will hold us back. Fear is a very powerful feeling, and it when it's in you, ooh, it's hard to get rid of. But it's possible by changing, of course, your mindset, by taking accountability, and almost face forwarding the issues that come up day to day, looking at them immediately, reacting fast, quick. It don't matter what it is. It could be an email, right? It could be an email from your boss. It could be an email from your lawyer. It could be the dentist appointment. It could be something that you don't want to do anymore. You set the appointment, now you change your mind. You don't want to do it no more. You did some reviews. Or you went on and looked at the reviews and you're like, oh, I don't want to book with this person anymore. I don't want to book with this profession anymore. This thing, whatever it is, and you do something about it immediately, right? It's getting to it quickly. It's getting it done quickly. That's what I'm talking about. That's going to get you somewhere. That's going to get you to that new reality, okay, that you desire. So, with that being said, what else do I want to share? It's like so many things before we really get into the juicy part, the juicy aspects of womb healing from here on out, right? Moving forward, because we are going to get into some good stuff. We're going to get into more niche based topics when it comes to womb healing. Okay. Oh, hold on. So, what the womb is now, what is the womb now? The womb is not only a period, it's not only tracking your cycle, it's not only about fertility, and it's not only about herbs, right? It's not all physical. The womb is actually very spiritual. And that's where I'm going with this conversation. It's like I'm talking about life, and then you'll hear me say womb because it's all interconnected, right? One of the questions that I do want to answer is, what did my own life reveal that changed the way that I understand the womb? Because again, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the way that I understand the womb. We're talking about the way that the womb is, right? It is the all. And so it can't just be physical healing, it has to be spiritual, energetic healing. And I talk a lot about this in, of course, some of my courses, some of my last what's it called? My last class, right? My Back to the Sin class. That was my last release. And again, these are the things that I talk about. These are the things that I teach. So important. So important, because there's levels to womb healing. And I won't go into teaching today. Today is not about teaching, but today is about reality and lived experiences. It's about who I am. It's about aura. It's about magnetism. It's about beauty. It's about the water. It's about the dreams. The dreams that you desire, and the dreams that you can't remember. You can't seem to dream anymore, right? Can you? Do you remember your dreams often? Right? Because there's ways to remember your dreams and call in your dreams. The real dream and the physical that you want to happen, right? Your desire, your manifestation, calling that in, but then also when you sleep. So, what I really want to share though is that my life and the recent discoveries, right, that have occurred, okay, that I've experienced, has shown me that there is power in silence. There is power in silence, in quiet, in the quiet, in the void. The void is dark. The void is darkness. The void is silence, right? And the womb is the void. The womb carries the void. The void lives inside of the womb. And so when you want to connect with and when you're thinking about things being interconnected, when you want to connect with your womb, when you want to be empowered, right, and feel empowered, not only be empowered, you want to feel empowered every day. When you want to become empowered, then you must be able to silence. You must be able to keep quiet. There's so many things that you just gotta zip zip it up, keep it here, put it in the bubble. Remember we spoke about that earlier? So there's power in the void and the quiet evolution of a woman. Nighttime is a place of solace for the womb. The womb loves nighttime, right? Because again, if the womb is the void, right? If the womb is the void, literally, then the womb is interconnected with nighttime. That's why they say do your rituals at night. They're more potent. That's why they say sometimes our ancestors wake us up at night. Our ancestors are connected to the womb because again our ancestors are connected to the void. They're connected to the darkness, the shadow aspect of ourselves. Okay, they're connected to the world where of the unseen, of the unborn. Your unborn child is literally able to meet your ancestors. And if your ancestors connect with the darkness, per se, like with the void, right? They're not in the light. This is the light. This is the matrix. Okay, and your ancestors are no longer connected to the matrix. Your ancestors are now connected to the darkness, the void, the unseen realm. Then yes, they are connected to your menstrual cycle. Hence to why, I've taught this before, but if you are giving birth to a child and maybe your mother recently passed, and or you're the whole team, the whole squad, your matriarchal lineage comes and you don't know they're there. It's quiet, right? It's there, you don't see them, but they're there to protect and guide this point of release, this right, they're meeting the baby in the portal, inside the realm of exchange, like where you go and grab the baby while you're pushing out. It's called the what's it called again? The ring of fire. That ring of fire, that last push. With that being said, yeah, when it comes to the womb, because I know I was talking about ancestors, well, ancestors, ancestral um, connections and support. But ultimately, what I mean is that when it comes to womb empowerment, then there's power in the void. There's power in quiet, in the night when you dream. There's also power in not only the dream realm, right? We're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that. That's whole teaching session, how to connect to your dreams and how to connect your womb and your dreams, put that together, manifest what you need to manifest, right? New timeline. Boom. All because you started to dream, you started to take some of the information that was coming out of your dreams, and then you started to what? Take accountability and be proactive. All right, I saw this in my dream, or I saw this in my dream. All right, this is going on. What can I heal? What is going on in this dream? What is this? My subconscious mind getting to me? What can I heal? How can I, look at this? Da, 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 da. So many things. So many things, right? And so that's a lesson in and of itself. But another thing is water, right? Again, hence why I'm officially tapping into I've returned to my true self, to my true nature. And that is to be connected to water, to be a woman of the water, to let the water lead me. And that is very empowering, especially again, like I said, as a woman who maybe has a lot of astrological or a lot of water in her astrological chart. As a woman, maybe you were taught to, or you grew up in taking swimming lessons, and you can swim, you're an avid swimmer, and or maybe you've drowned several times at the water came for you. You've drowned several times, the water came for you. You might it might have been a really daunting experience, but you remember it. Well, that's just because the water is just like calling you back in. Okay. And if that's happened to you multiple times, it's like, yeah, that could be, that's one of the ways that, is usually described for women of the waters. But there's so many other ways. But again, if you are a woman, maybe that you're very connected to crying, connected to your emotions, and maybe you wear your heart on your sleeve, and you're open to sharing your emotions. Maybe not with everybody, but you're a very emotional person. And water is water comes from emotions. Water is emotion. Emotion is water. And so again, if you are that woman, you know who you are, right? You know who you are. You know you are called to be more connected to the water, and perhaps, and or like, you're probably a dreamer. You remember dreams, and maybe you have not necessarily premonitions, maybe premonitions, right? Maybe you have things that happen in your dream that you see. Maybe you dream of fish, right? When someone gets pregnant, or you dream of somebody getting pregnant. Like maybe you have those really potent dreams. Okay, and so you need to be connected to water, right? You can't neglect water. I say, here's the thing that I've learned is that you cannot neglect water if you are a woman of the water. You may want to come out and put your feet on the sand from time to time so that you remain grounded. I think I have like makeup on my thing. So that you remain grounded, yes, but you have to be interconnected with water day to day. There's something that's got to be going on with water every day. Yes, you drink your water, that's basic, right? But there's power in connecting with water. That's where I'm getting to it, because I don't want to teach today. Today is about my experience with water, with dreaming, it has gotten me exactly what I wanted. And I'm still conjuring up things that I need, but I'm at a good place now. I'm at a good place now, energetically, spiritually, physically. Okay, I am very aware. Pause real quick because I hear something loud passing my car. Energetically, right? Tapped in, fully tapped in, very self-aware, very aware of my surroundings. I see people now. I see right through them now. Why? Because I see right through myself. When I'm failing myself, when I'm disappointing myself and my higher self, when I'm self-sabotaging or self-betraying myself, I see myself and I'm okay with seeing myself. That's the thing. You got to be okay with seeing who you really are. You got to be okay with seeing yourself and your shadow aspects and the ugly parts of yourself. That is the only way to get what you want in this world, right? Is to see the ugly in you and to purge it out, to release the ugly in you. Because we all got that side, the higher self, the lower self. I teach my kids all the time there's a higher self, there's a lower self, right? So there's power in the water. And again, when it comes to water, right, so think of it as ingredients. So there's water, there's silence, there's accountability. These are the main ingredients, right? Not only ingredients, but the main, I would say, um, to change your timeline, right? To change your life. Okay. And yeah, having that personal time with yourself is life changing. Seeing yourself is life changing. Okay, so you could do all the herbs, all this yoni steaming that you want. You could do all of these rituals and practices, whatever you see online, or if you're a practitioner, even if you're a practitioner, because maybe you're at this stage where you don't necessarily need to go online anymore, but you're still practicing the same rituals and maybe you're not seeing a change in your life. Then what it is that you're, because you see that, at least you see that. You see something's not changing. You see that you're right here, but you want to be right there. Then that is what's calling you. Those changes that I spoke about, the things that I spoke about in the video today, those are the things that's calling for you to realize so that you change. Okay, and being fearless is so important. And you might say, well, how do you do that? How do you be fearless? How do I release my fears? A lot of it is taking accountability, right? Taking accountability day by day, step by step. There's something that can be done. There's an email that can be sent. There is a conversation that could be had with someone that you love. And that is you taking accountability for your emotions, for how you feel, for how you see things, for how things are in reality too, right? Also, being able to master your emotions. Again, that is connected to water. That's why I'm saying water is so important. Sleep is so important because the dream realm is connected to the moon and the moon is connected to water. It's all interchangeable. And the moon is connected to what? Moon cycle, your menstrual cycle, your womb cycle, right? Your womb healing. Okay? So again, I thought I was healing my womb, but what I was really doing was remembering the woman I was before survival taught me to abandon myself. That is it. That is all. And there's a time that's gonna call you to never abandon yourself again.